What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again, and if you cannot tell, I have just woken up and I have bed hair. But I wanted to get this BFR out of the way. I decided on against posting my Seattle collection video until tomorrow. That way I have a video for tomorrow, and because this BFR is going to go out today. 2 videos went up yesterday, one today, one tomorrow, and then the BFR the following Friday. So hopefully we can get some consistent daily uploading going. So apologies if you were looking forward to that. We just have to hold on one more day, I promise. Game 28 against the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton. I saw a lot of memes beforehand. Connor versus Connor, like it was Dwayne Johnson and John Cena in the WrestleMania 28. I'm not a WWE fan, but everyone remembers that, and if you're my age. But with the Invincible song and the caption of the NHL hyping up Connor versus Connor like it isn't going to be an 8-1 thrashing. They weren't that far off. It was a 4-1 thrashing. But 9 o'clock December 12th, it was a late game, and we got to do this again all tomorrow against Seattle. Playing in Seattle, the West Coast is always brutal. I remember it from being in when I was in preschool and kindergarten, when I was I was in 4 or 5 years old. I had to go to school the next morning, and I watched the beginning of the game with my dad, and then I eventually had to go to bed because it was too late. It was only on those games. My bedtime was 8:30 in preschool, but if there was a hockey game on, they let me stay up a little later. Coming into the game, so Seth Jones was out and Ruse was in, so the Hawks had 4 rookie defensemen playing. Is Ruse technically a rookie? I'm not sure, but Seth Jones' upper body injury did not travel with the team on the road trip, so we'll see how that goes. Of course, it was Connor versus Connor. And the Oilers had won 7 straight coming into this. They had turned their season around completely, and now they have won 8 straight and are a game above 500 from their atrocious start. Score ends up being 4-1 for Edmonton. They go to 9-18-1. Shots were 29-22 Edmonton. Hits were 30-17 Chicago. Faceoffs 28-24 Edmonton. Power play, Chicago goes 0 for 2. Edmonton goes 1 for 2. Mrazek saves 25 out of 29. Skinner saves 21 out of 22. It was a nationally televised game on ESPN on the doubleheader. You had Detroit and St. Louis, and then immediately following the game against St. Louis, or against Detroit, St. Louis head coach Craig Berube was fired, which is a little bit of a shocker. But, yeah. So, anyway, we'll go to the first period. Vlasic is saved early, and then at 16:39, Chicago's the one that opens the scoring, and it's 5 games in a row they've done so. It's an absolute snipe from Connor Bedard, making his presence known early, saying, "I'm the best Connor in the game of the 4. Connor Murphy, Connor Bedard, Connor McDavid, Connor Brown." Bedard would be the only Connor to score. It's 12th of the season from Crevier and Vlasic to make it 1-0. Edmonton pressures right after the goal. Tyler Johnson, Tyler Johnson's 5'8". This was an interesting sequence. His shoulder hits Fogel's head, but since he is shorter, it's not really you can't really do much about that. And a 3-on-1 goes the other way, and then Radish whiffs, and I threw my head back and said, "Well, there goes any lead we ever hope to get." And it wouldn't be too long as the Oilers scramble. That'd be cleared. Kane is saved. Foligno and Khrushchev had a chance that was saved. Draisaitl is saved. Then at 10:02, it's an Edmonton break goal for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 6th of the season from McDavid and Bouchard to make it 1-1. Ekholm's stick got stuck in Dickinson's visor, which was an interesting scenario. Ruse to the locker room after he blocked a shot with his hand. He would return. It was a pretty back and forth game. It was both sides. There weren't a lot of whistles in the first. One side would go down the ice, and the other bend the other. But I felt that Edmonton was getting much better chances. And the announcers were tooting Chicago's horn. I'll give them that. I'm not sure why they're saying Chicago was playing a pretty good game. I want to know where this game was. They could not. Every chance Edmonton was getting, Mrazek was standing on his head. It felt like, and I couldn't believe the shot totals after the first. I'm like, there's no way the Hawks are leading. Where are these shots coming from? Because they haven't been from what I've seen. Crevier and Bedard are both denied. Tyler Johnson is saved. Khrushchev and Crevier both have chances that are denied. And then at 1:41, the Hawk killer comes back. It's an Edmonton one-timer goal from Sam Gagner, his 4th of the season, from Derek Ryan to make it 2-1. And I thought, oh boy, is he about to put up another 8-point game on us, just like he did 12 years ago. Still the most bizarre stat in history that Sam Gagner put up 8 points against the early 2010s Hawks. And that was a team that was the worst team in the league that year, that Oilers team. I don't know. Second period, Nurse is denied, Kane is saved, Hyman is saved, and Bouchard is saved twice. Ryan was hurt from Murphy on a hit. He would return, so he was fine. But then 6:36, it's an Edmonton deflection off Zaitsev, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's one of those goals where Zaitsev, the camera pans to Zaitsev, and he knows it would define off his stick, and it's just, oh my gosh." It's Draisaitl ends up getting credit for the goal, his 12th of the season, from Ceci and Gagne. It makes it 3-1. 1:53 of the second period, so almost 2 minutes left, and the first penalty is called. It's Ryan Donato for slashing, which would be killed because 3 seconds later at 1:50, it's an Edmonton penalty to Hyman for tripping. So it's 4-on-4 for a minute 57, but then at 1:11, it's a Chicago penalty to Zaitsev for hooking, so 3 penalties in the span of 42 seconds when there had been none the rest of the game. So it's 4-on-3 for 1 minute and 18 seconds, and there's 6 seconds left on the 4-on-3 going into the third, and then there's another power play for 30 seconds, and on that power play, Edmonton scores in the third period at 19:17. It's a power play tap-in goal for Zach Hyman, who's on pace for 50 goals this year. 16th of the season from McDavid and Bouchard to make it 4-1. Brown has a near break and hits the post. The announcer was saying how Connor Brown is never going to score this year. He had finally scored a goal last game. He had a goal, it was disallowed, and he just cannot catch a break. And they're saying, is he ever going to score this year? And then at one point, Ray Ferraro said, Connor Brown is never going to score this year. I am convinced. 9:19, it's an Edmonton penalty to Draisaitl for slashing, which would be killed. Entwistle had a near wraparound chance that almost went in. Hyman is saved. Oh, I forgot to mention. I can't believe I missed a penalty. I must have just been phased out at that point. But 12:29, there was an Edmonton penalty to Kulak for holding, which would also be killed. So the Hawks get the last 2 power plays. They cannot convert. But yeah, that would conclude that game. Next game will be against Seattle. It's another 9 o'clock one. And so it's going to be a late one, which is just what I want to hear. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you guys, in the next one. Have a good day.